ourselves safe from dengue. Because if we will be having a treatment against dengue, then there shouldn't be any such panic or problem in the community. We will be using drugs like in malaria. We are having drugs against malaria. So if anybody gets malaria, he is being given the treatment against malaria or what type of malaria he is. So, but in case of dengue, as I have already shared, that this is a virus, and this virus is having a very different habit, that whenever it brings up its new generation, there is always been a change in its genetic material. So that causes a difficulty for the scientists to create a drug or any sort of other immune agent against it. So this is the problem, that we have to precisely look for our environmental control, and then those measures from where we protect ourselves, like using mothballs, keeping our environment clean, using all those coils and other repellents to be used in the house to keep the mosquito away. Yes.
Is it right dengue only laid its egg on clean water?
It lays its eggs, it likes to lay its eggs in a more cleaner environment, but not actually the clean water. It could be the water which is staying in your flower pots. It could be a water staying just in a used utensil or a wrapper, as I have already mentioned. Because wherever the moist environment is available, it is very feasible for the dengue to lay its egg and then wait when there is a better environment, like if there is few drops of water, it can hatch its eggs there, and only 3 or 4 days are required to make a new dengue mosquito within from that egg. Yes.
Chala, if the dengue fever finish in this year, then in the next year the dengue fever will come?
Yes, very good question. Yes, usually what happens that there are cycles. There are cycles that now what will happen, that we will be heading towards a dry environment. And when mostly our environment will be becoming dry, it will become difficult for these mosquitoes to start propagation in such a large number around us. But a low intensity will be there, and that mosquito will be there, but it will be having a dormant period during this winter season. But again, when we will be having these rains around, it will again propagate. It will again propagate. Wherever it has laid their eggs, and if they will be preserved in a moist, cooler and dark environment, they will stay there and they will wait for the rain to come to hatch again and to give their larvae to propagate there and complete their life cycle in a little water, whatever they will be having. Thank you.
If a dengue bites us, so why does hemophilia takes place?
Why?
This hemophilia takes place. Hemophilia.
No, it's not hemophilia actually. It's not hemophilia. Hemophilia is in another disease. Actually what happens, that in dengue fever, we are losing our platelets and we are losing our white blood cells to fight against the disease. So we will be having just fever and myalgia usually.
What could be the easiest way to get rid of dengue fever?
Just to get rid of dengue fever, clean your environment.
That is the message.
That is the message. Mostly, if you will be able to keep the environment clean, you will be saved from dengue. And that is the only way we could fight with dengue in years to come. And probably we have to fight it for another on these extensive grounds, at least for 4 years.
I think now they are going to ask repeatedly the same question. So,
Are people dying by dengue bites?
Yes, very gravity of this disease. Usually what happens? Usually what happens is, as we earlier discussed, that our platelets are being lost and our white blood cell count is being low. So when this happens, first of all, the major problem what we face is the bleeding. Bleeding from every part of the body. So we are not able, if we fail to control that problem, or what we used to say that platelets are required, in that condition, we lose the people. The second problem is that if anybody is having any other ailment, any other disease, any other physiological problem, then there are more chances of an gravity, because that creates the problem that which replicates or duplicates the problem. And all those patients who are having any other biological disease, they are the victim of that disease also.
so what you mean to say is it's not only dengue that kills,
Yes.
a complication combined with
It's
another.
usually the complications what we face due to lower WBC count. That other opportunist infections do get the chance to attack us, and that results in fatality, that we lose people during dengue fever.
I'd like to know in which situation do we need to give platelets to the patient?
Yes. A very sensitive question, because that has created a lot of panic, and people are always been lining up for their blood count to be checked again and again, and one was quoting that a person who has given his blood sample a day before was again found in the line to see that what had happened to his platelets. So it's not like that. The only measure when we are cautious about it is that when the platelet count is less than 16,000. Before that, we don't take care of it, and we are not bothered about it. We always been trying to convince the patients that they should remain at their home and they should just take precautionary measures and all the prophylactic actions, so they shouldn't be acting in the environment as an carrier. Secondly, they should be taking care of their own health to get out of that viremia. Usually, they do recover within 10 days. And there's nothing to be panicked except what I have already mentioned, that we need to be very cautious that if we are having any other biological disease, like any liver ailment, like diabetes, if all multiple organ problems are there, then we have to be very cautious about it, that while recovering from dengue, we must take care and we must consult our physician. Otherwise, it is a disease which will take its course, and after 10 to 15 days, you will be back on your feet. Yes.
What impact will it have on a liver patient?
Liver is you could say, a very precious lab in our body. Liver basically plays a role to detoxify all those infections or all those byproducts which are being generated on routine basis in our body. So, it acts like a sweeper, it acts like a detergent, it acts like a person who cleans your environment. So whenever liver itself is not healthy, then it becomes a problem for the body to cope with other situations. And secondly, the most of the resources which you get through liver is your glucose, which is to be utilized by the cells. And secondly, your protein digestion is only dependent on the liver. And if your liver is not properly functioning, so you will be having a problem in the availability of glucose, which need to be utilized by your cells, and your storage of proteins, your storage of fat, all will be lost. So this will compromise your overall health. Otherwise, if your liver is healthy, you're least bothered about it.
Dengue bites us, we have fever, but don't forget this when dengue bites, we can be dengue also.
Yes, we can. We are the part of that dengue cycle also. Because then we will be acting like a carrier. That's why it is being advocated that whosoever is having fever, he be kept aside. He can be potential carrier for other mosquitoes to be infected which are not yet infected. So, as I have told you, that dengue mosquito is there. It's not only that it spreads this dengue fever, it also spreads yellow fever. The same. So, we need to be very cautious about it. We need to be very careful about it. Previously, we were well aware of it, and we were working and fighting against yellow fever. And all those flights which are coming to this country from Africa are always been sprayed, and all the people who are traveling from or to Africa, they are being vaccinated against yellow fever. But unfortunately for dengue, we are not having any such precautions yet. So the only thing is that we should be very cautious that if a person is suffering from dengue, he should be kept in an isolated environment till he recovers, so no other mosquito could bite and get infected and transport that infection to any other person. Yes.
Eggs of dengue can be alive in the water till 1 year.
The eggs of the dengue are alive. They are given a damp, dark, moist environment over a year till the water is there. When water will be there, they will start their life cycle, they will hatch, and then they will produce new mosquitoes in your environment.
Destroying our food. That's the way we lose our food.
Why does dengue have so much dangerous poison?
It's not the poison which it has. Actually, it's the virus which gets the time to get into it and complete one part of its life cycle in that mosquito. So it is basically that virus which is dangerous. It's not the mosquito which is dangerous. Yes, mosquito is an vehicle which conveys that virus from one person to the